Listen, Fabio, we're talking pre-presser here, and I'm going to try and stir it.
You could do your job.
We're in a different place now. This isn't Jarrell Miller. This isn't him getting up. This isn't him accusing you of making a diss track, which you didn't, right?
I did not.
Which you didn't. Have you done one for Justis Huni?
I haven't, no. I don't. Not too many things rhyme with Justis or Huni, so I'm struggling.
There's a lot of Justice puns though you can do as you'll find out at the press.
Like doing some Justice, bit of that, you know.
All of that.
Maybe.
What's this been like? This whole situation, because that was fun. That press, the whole launch of it, everyone was kind of excited about Jarrell Miller. What was the news like when you got it? Oh my God, he's out kind of thing. What's the whole period been like?
Yeah, look, it's never good because I think especially with the name of Jarrell Miller, the fight itself, our two styles coming together, knowing that neither of us were really ever going to take a step back. And then the press conference obviously did what it did, turned into what it turned into. So that built up a real high level of atmosphere, anticipation towards the fight. And there was a bit of kind of deflatedness when he pulled out with the shoulder injury for me as well, because look, after someone gets a bit mouthy, Larry, and says a few bits and that, you want to do a job on them and say, all right, prove your point, because it's all fun and games saying whatever outside the ring, but in the ring is where it really matters. So yeah, there was that, but look, it's nothing new in boxing, and also it's nothing new for me. I've had opponents pull out last-minute swaps, things like that, all throughout my career. So it's nothing particularly new for me. Look, we just pivot, refocus, and stay on track.
It's interesting because you had Miller who got you amped up. Before that, there was a bit of needle with Fraser Clark as well. Like, you're fairly friendly now. Before that, Adelaide, there's plenty of needle there.
Yeah.
This guy, from what I'm anticipating, there won't be much needle. He's a pretty cool, calm, relaxed guy.
Yeah.
Does that affect you mindset-wise when it does sort of just become a job and you might switch off? I don't know.
No, not at all. Because I've dealt with all ends of the spectrum. I've dealt with the likes of the Jarrell Millers, the David Adelaides, the ones who want to be big mouth, go off, shout, scream, rant and rave. And then I've dealt with the nice, calm, cool, polite, shake your hand, professionals, like your Nathan Gormans, in certain instances like your Fraser Clarks. Like, there was a little bit of needle in there, but it was always very professional and very like, we understand we're here to do a job kind of thing. So look, I've dealt with both ends of it, and neither of them, whether you come out all loud mouthy or whether you're calm and cordial, neither has a sway on how I'm going to turn up on the night. I'm turning up and I'm doing my job.
Who do you think's at the bigger disadvantage? Him for taking on you at 5 weeks' notice, or you for having been prepared for Jarrell Miller and suddenly pivoting to this guy who's a completely different style?
I think anyone that's planning on taking on me near on any notice is a disadvantage, because one thing about my style is it's unpredictable. I think sometimes half the time I don't know what I'm doing in there. I figure it out on the fly, and I think that's kind of what makes me entertaining, what makes me spicy, because you don't know necessarily what you're going to get. I don't know what I'm going to get sometimes. I'm in there and I do something like, oh, that worked pretty well, let's keep on that. So the thing is with me, trying to find maybe a sparring partner or a way to watch my fights and replicate, because if you then look at my fights and you look at like maybe the Adelaide fight, but then you look at the Fraser fight, they're two very different fights. And then you look at the second Fraser fight and then it's just all over in one round, and then you're like, hang on, which Fabio Wardley is going to turn up? So there's multiple facets to me, multiple areas to my game. So I don't think taking me, especially on short notice, is ideal for anyone at all.
He's different though, right? In terms of, ding ding, first bell rings, Jarrell Miller, he'd be here.
Mm-hmm.
You won't have to go looking for him. First bell rings June 7th, and it's this guy, you will probably have to go and look for him. I think he's going to be boxing and moving. That seems to be what he's intimating.
Yeah, that's what he says. From little previews of his fights and that, he does also like to get stuck in. And there's one thing I can do with an opponent is draw them into a fight. I can make them feel comfortable, make them feel like, oh, you know what, give him a bit and make him eager to have a go and suck him into that. So he's the more decorated amateur. Maybe.
They always are, Fabio,
yeah.
right?
It is always the very much same old story of, this is the decorated amateur, he's won this as an amateur and he's done that as an amateur. But also, the slight difference here with Justis is he's proven in the heavyweights, in professional rankings as well. #1 with the WBO. Moved in, he's high in the WBA, he's high across the other governing bodies as well. So he's he'd done some proving within the rankings as well, within that professional heavyweight scene. So him to turn up on the night, I do think this will be a bit of a different one for him, a bit of a different occasion, a bit of a different moment. And I think he might just not be able to help himself but want to get stuck in. And
them going absolutely crazy out here, like they're going to on the ring walk, they'll be booing him. He probably hasn't had anything like that before. When that first bell rings, they will want a fight. Do you think that will help kind of almost force it?
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm one that I can speak to what the crowd can do to you on a fight night. That first phrase of fight, the crowd got heavily involved. They were screaming, shouting, going crazy, and they egged me on to get involved and maybe get stuck into wars in moments where I shouldn't do, really. But like you can't help yourself if you're a real true competitor, and that for one side or the other, whether they're for you or against you, you want to prove to them either you're on the right side or you're on the wrong side, and that's what I think he'll be coming to do on the night.
What does running towards adversity mean to Fabio Wardley?
To me, it means running always consistently, running into just bigger and bolder challenges. And this is another big, bold challenge. Like, I feel like I have ticked off the domestic scene with the British title fights I've had and working my way through the ranks. And this is now the next level of running through the next wall, the next bulk of adversity, which is blasting myself into that top tier, that top echelon of heavyweights in boxing. And me initially, obviously, picking Jarrell Miller, I was thinking that was the adversity. That was a big wall I was going to run to. But Justis Huni brings a lot of different questions for different reasons as well. A lot more schooled, a lot more well put together. So he will pose a bunch of different problems on the night, which again, like I say, I know he's coming in at short notice, but we've seen the errors that can be made on opponents being changed at real short notice, which again, Jarrell Miller is in that box because the AJ one is the most probably emphatic that everyone refers to. So that big change of pace is something that me and the team are heavily going to have to pay attention to, but we're switched on.
Do you think there's any part of him that's underestimating you? And the reason I ask that is because I watched an interview and he said the only thing you've got over him is power. Now, there's more to Fabio Wardley than that, right? Do you agree with that statement or what?
I'd probably advise him to do a bit more research.
Do you want him to?
I want him to do as much as he can. Look, I don't want the one thing I don't want is no excuses, is no if, buts, maybes, but this and but that. I want the best Justis Huni to turn up on the night, to be well prepared, well schooled, well versed in Fabio Wardley, done his research, done his revision, done his homework. And I think if he has done and does do that properly, he'll quickly realise there's more to my game than just a heavy right hand. Like, don't get me wrong, that's in there and that can be the equaliser and it can end the fight on the moment. But also, you look through fights and you look through moments, it's not just about that, it's also about how I set it up. Or it's about how I go through the fight to set it up and go through the rounds and go through the gears, all those different moments. And I would think that I've had a few more proven fights than he has to say something like that.
WBA interim heavyweight title on the line. It feels like you're kind of on the edge of glory now, like maybe 2 wins away from history.
Yeah, it's edging closer and closer. Like it is, running towards adversity. It's just challenge after challenge after challenge, pushing myself more and more and more with each fight, with each opponent. And this just adds that extra bit of spice, edges me that little bit closer as well. So obviously world titles, those massive fights. So obviously we've got one coming up with Usyk and Dubois, but beyond this fight, once I get past Justis Huni, that's where I'm looking to be, is in the mix with those names. You say one of those names and mine isn't far behind. That's the goal. And to be challenging for those titles. So yeah, look, I've got a job to do. I've got a task to overcome. I've got a stadium to sell. I've got an event to tick off. But once all of that is done, it's full focus on world titles.
This is an odd one because Eddie is promoting Justis Huni. Eddie used to promote you. Eddie used to come here with you for meetings with the club, talking about what we can do here one day.
Yeah.
He's still going to be involved, but he's in the opposite corner, hoping you lose, Fabio.
Yeah, it's a funny dynamic, that one. It is a funny dynamic because there's a literal picture that me, Mark, the CEO, the director of the club, and Eddie took on the centre of the pitch, saying, "Oh yeah, look, big meetings, big plans to come." It's funny how boxing works out. It's funny how this game turns around. Look, he kind of gets his wish. He's just on the other side of the table. But look, it's all fun and games because ultimately I went where I thought was best for me, and that ended up being with Queensberry and Frank Warren. And I feel like I'm in great hands. And look, I asked, one of the first meetings, one of the first chats I had and sat down with Frank was to discuss pulling this off, was fighting at Portman Road. And he, without even flinching, he said, "That's something we can do. We can do that. Don't worry. Like, trust in me. I'll set the groundwork for you. I'll set you up. I'll put you in the right places. You have to do your job, but as long as you do, we can get you to the right place." And he has delivered. Whether that's 1-0 Frank over Eddie, that's for you to bring up, for you to say. However, but look, either way, we're here. We've got a massive fight at Portman Road, a homecoming fight for me. So a special occasion nonetheless.
And a mentor on the undercard. Dillian White is on your undercard. That hasn't happened before, right?
No. It's again, funny old boxing, how things move around. But a massive event like this, stadium fight, we wanted a big name on there. Obviously, no one really better in the heavyweight division to bring entertainment, a bit of flair, a bit of something to the fight on the night. Obviously, he's never in a boring fight. He's never in a dull fight. He does nothing but get forward, get stuck in, and entertain. And it's fantastic because he is the guy. He is the man who gave me that initial kick, that initial push into the bright lights of main stage heavyweight boxing. So for me to have my homecoming fight and for him to be on my undercard is actually almost full circle in a sense, and is fantastic. It's nice for me to not give back to him, but to say, look, thank you for all your faith in me, and here is look at where, not where it's ended, but look at where we are so far, and look how much else we can do.
It's nicely said. So how's this fight going to go?
Knockout. Look, I think with Justis, he knows some of my attributes, some of my skills. He's picked out my power and things. But with him, look, he likes to box and move and stuff. But I do think he can't help himself but want to get stuck in sometimes. Us as fighters, us as boxers, we do have that natural instinct. And I have a habit of being able to draw that out of people as well. So on the night, I will do that. The occasion, the night, the moment, everything, it all calls for it. And one thing you know about me is that when the lights get brighter, I get better. So on that night, whichever Justis Huni turns up, whether he does want to box and move, then fine, I'll hunt you down out of that ring. It's not that big. You haven't got far to run. And if you want to meet me in the middle, I'll be stood there with a smile on my face, more than welcome to. So look, either way it goes, I didn't go through all this trouble. I didn't have all the conversations, all the meetings about pulling this off and putting this big show together for it to just be dull, boring, and kind of go through the motions. I'm going to put on a show, and I'm going to finish and stop Justis Huni.
Best of luck. Good to see you as always.